What's up? Theodore Helverveer, aka Big Teddy, back with you. And today we are going to talk about trusting in the process. Trusting in the process. But what does that mean? We're going to start this conversation with one that we've already had. Now, talk that we had pretty recently, that I speak from experience, is you can do everything you are supposed to do. You can make all the right choices and still lose. You remember that conversation? I hope you do, because I was very passionate about that one. It's a very big, important conversation, right? So, there's a lot of things that I say, until you have context, until you have experience, I said, can be considered slaps in the faces, but you deal with them. Either it works for you or it doesn't, right? So the thing that I'm going to say in this instance, when we're talking about trusting in your process, is as much as I talk about my feelings on mass religion and things like that, I am a man of extreme and very deep faith. You know, I believe very heavily in my faith, but I don't preach my faith, because I'm not really trying to throw it on anybody else. What's between me and my God is between me and my God. That being said, everything happens for a reason. I truly and sincerely believe that, okay? I say that to you as a planner. I say that as a man who works his hardest to never be in a position of vulnerability with anyone that I don't trust or have extreme faith in. Something that I've told you before is that I pay the cost to be the boss. I go harder than most people do when it comes to planning, when it comes to building up assurances, making sure I have the things I need in situations, making sure I have outs, right? And there have still been plenty of times where no matter how hard I've worked, no matter how prudently I've planned, my plans have fallen apart. And this is also why we talked about in plans, goals, and dreams. A plan is not meant to be set in stone. It's a framework, because life happens. And if you get stuck in that plan, you can ruin everything for yourself. So why do I say everything happens for a reason? Because we go through experiences, and I'm telling you sincerely, when you're in the middle of that experience, when you're living in it, when you're going through it, it can very reasonably and understandably be the worst point or worst moment in your life, or the worst thing you have experienced yet. But surviving that failure, surviving that loss, is an opportunity to do more than just survive. Everything negative that I've experienced that I thought was going to kill me or be the end of me has made me better and stronger down the road. And I say that sincerely. And there are things that I haven't wanted to come back from. There are things that I haven't wanted to survive. But those have made me better. How have those made me better? So those have made me better in two different ways. The first way is that they make me work harder every time. I'm already working at my hardest. If I still lose, then my hardest needs to get harder. My best needs to get better. There's always room for improvement. We've had that conversation. We live that conversation daily. But what's the second? The second way is, once I've experienced that loss, that failure, that breaking point, then it can never be that bad for me again. Okay? You get tough. You build up that thick layer of extra skin, like a sturdy, rugged leather. And why do we say leather? Because if it's rock, if it's stone, if it's steel, it numbs you to life. It numbs you to the world. It takes away your ability to enjoy and experience and believe, to really move in the hope that there's better out there and that things aren't always hard or rough or crazy or messed up. But when you're leather, when you're pliable and you can bend, but you're rugged and you're strong, you're not fazed by the little barbs and jabs that life throws at you, they don't stick because you've been there. You've done that. We did that dance. You feel me? But you're still alive. You're still able to take in and believe that you can move to a better place from that point. You gotta believe in your process, no matter how bad it is, no matter what you have been through. It happens for a reason. It is up to you. It is up to us to take those experiences and not waste them, to learn from them and be better in spite of them and because of them. And I'm telling you that from the bottom of my heart. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter what you're feeling, it's for a reason. Learn from it. You hear me? You take that knowledge and you survive. And then you do everything that you need to do to never be in that position again. Okay? And that's as real as it gets. Something that we talk about in the book, and this is a moment that resonates with me. So we're talking about the Black Panther right now. And we're not talking about the movie, we're talking about the comic. And I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, you're an adult, you're this, you're that. Why do you read comics? Isn't that a kid thing? And I largely let them live and don't explain anything to them. Because if you don't get it, it's not my place to teach you. You know, especially not if you're coming at me sideways about something that I enjoy and love. But the reason that I love comics is because I learn from everything in my life. I learn from books. I learn from music. I learn from my movies. I don't put anything into me for the sake of pure entertainment. Everything I put into me is a learning experience. And the Black Panther has had dope writers for ages that teach great lessons. And the lesson that we're talking about right now is there's a major war going on. Okay? And the Black Panther steps onto the battlefield to meet this person that's waiting to kill him. And the person says to him, I have trained my entire life to destroy you. And the Black Panther says to him in response, then you've already lost. Because I have trained my entire life to face the unknown. This is what I'm explaining to you. And this is what I'm telling you when I'm talking to you about sticking with it, trusting your process, believing that things happen for a reason. And let's get down into it deeper. What are we talking about? Well, what we're really talking about is if you ain't screaming free Pimp C, what is you saying? But jumping back into it, let's break it down, right? Here's what we're talking about. There is no hope in training yourself to only overcome one situation or one set of circumstances. Why? Because life happens. Life is fluid and ever changing. So the best that you can do for yourself is to learn how to be prepared for anything that comes your way. How to handle those situations with strength and dignity and grace. How to use them to become better for the next situation that comes your way. Well, how do I train and prepare myself to be ready for anything? By always doing your best. And then always remembering that your best has to constantly be getting better. It is not enough to just survive. It is not enough to just get by. And this is why the name of the book and the name of the cast and the name of everything surrounding this brand is more than just surviving life. The only way that you are going to stay ahead of the gun is by always doing your best to be your best. And that means a bunch of different things, okay? That means learning to accept that no matter how good you get, Sometimes things are going to slip ahead of you and get out of your grasp. And in those instances, you have to learn how to be a good loser. You have to learn how to ask for help. You have to learn how to be able to lean on others. And if you hate that, and if you're not good at that, and you don't believe in that, that's okay. You know why? Because what you have to do in that situation is then continue to grow so that you never have to experience that again. An ideal situation that we're shooting for is always being able to help, take care of, give to, and meet the needs of other people without ever needing anyone else to do it for you. Okay? That is a blessing. That is the blessing that I aim for in every aspect of life. Like I told you guys, I'll give you the shirt off of my back. I'll do this. I'll climb over the mountaintop for people that I love. Nothing wrong with that. I have a generous heart. That's dope. There's nothing wrong with giving freely. Okay? And the good thing, the beautiful blessing about it is when you give freely from your heart, you don't care about how people respond to it. If people respond to it negatively, doesn't mean anything because you weren't doing it for the gratification of them being in your debt or them telling you thank you. You were doing it because it was the right thing to do because you felt it, you know? And when people are positive and they're happy and they're grateful, it makes it even better. It's an amazing experience, but it's a completely different setup to be in a place of need. Okay? Something that we talk about all the time, which is super important, is the quality and the intent behind the things that we do. Trust in your process. Everything happens for a reason. Take the failures, take the losses, and be humble. Be humble with yourself and be humble with the people around you because that is the only way to learn from these experiences. We're going to say it again. No matter how well you plan, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much effort you put in, there is going to be a time where things get away from you. No one can win all the time. No one can always be on top, but the failures shape us, and it is your choice and your decision what they make you and who you are going to be because of them. Your failures, every failure is an opportunity to be better, to look at your flaws and faults and understand why you lost and how you lost, and to use that motivation and that inspiration to never be in that place again. We talk so heavily here. Something that's very different with me from other motivators is I spend a lot more time talking about the reality of the negatives. Because like I said before, and like I said earlier in this, no one can be happy all the time. No one can always be on 10. No one can always be in a good place. And so we have to be honest with ourselves about the negatives and about the bad days and acknowledge that they happen. Because if we don't address them, then they take us by surprise. But something that I talk about also, which is different, and the reason that I touch on those negatives so much is because I believe in turning negatives into positives. Negatives into positives is my greatest inspiration in life. It is how and why I live so much of my life the way I do. Negatives into positives is my fuel. Because I never want to be at the mercy of anyone else. Because I know what my intentions are, but I don't know what anyone else's intentions are. I never want to be in a place of need, in a place of dependency. And so I work triple hard. I work quadruple hard. Because for me, the way I live and the mindset that I carry, I would rather do 2 times the amount of work by myself than to go in half-cocked and let a situation fail me. This is what we talk about when we talk about paying the cost to be the boss. Okay? Lucy Liu said it. Lucy Liu said it in a really dope way. Lucy Liu said one of the reasons that she worked so hard is because when she was a little girl, her father sat her down and told her, no matter where you're at in life, you should always have fuck you money. And she said, what's that? And her dad said, that is your safety net. Fuck you money is the money that you keep for yourself, so that if you ever get into a tough spot or a sticky position, no one can hold things over their head and say, I did this for you. I'm doing this for you. I gave you this. I give you this. I take care of you. When you're back against that wall and you're in those real hard positions, and the only people that you can go to for help, you really don't want to go to for help, you keep that fuck you money. And that was the lesson that her father taught her. And this is the lesson that I'm trying to teach and impart to you guys. Because just like I don't ever want to be at the mercy of another person that I don't trust or don't believe in, or I know that they have ulterior motives, I don't want that for any one of you, for any reason. If it has to happen for you to learn from that experience, I get that. And some of us, a lot of us, may have had those experiences already. But my question to you about those experiences is the same as my question about most things. What are you doing to keep it from happening again? What are you doing to keep other people's battery out of your back? What are you doing to keep other people's hand from around your throat? Because that's what it feels like to me. I don't know what it feels like to you. This is why I tell you, trust in your process. Always be learning. Always be doing better. Because if we can accept the truth of life, that no matter how bad our experiences are, that all of them have happened for a reason, and all of them are learning opportunities and potential and chances to become better, so those things never happen to us again, then there are no more excuses. This is where we get up. This is where we change things. This is where we say, not me, not anymore, not again. I'm telling you, no matter what people think I've done, no matter what people think I'm doing, I am never, ever sitting on my hands. I am always working as hard as I possibly can be to make moves and make changes and be moving forward, because I never, ever want to have to give up my freedom. I got a little hyped right there. I apologize. I don't know if you heard it in my throat, but my freedom is the most important thing to me in the world. My family's freedom is the most important thing to me. And when you put yourself in a position to give others power over you, you give up your freedom. And I can't live like that. It's not my way. Just like I don't want it for me, I don't want it for you. What I want for you more than anything is to have the choice, to have the option to put your decisions in someone else's hands if you want them, because you trust them. There's nothing wrong with giving someone else the reins and letting someone else make the decisions, as long as it's happening willingly. It is when we fail and we lose the ability and the freedom to make choices for ourselves that it becomes a problem. When people have power over us, we don't want them to have. So how do we prevent that? Trust in your process. Understand that everything happens for a reason. And you take those negatives and you take those failures and you treat them as what they are. Lessons, learning points, and do better. We are going to keep doing this every week, every day if we have to. We're going to keep talking and working and doing our best to be better and move forward together. I will continue to be here with you no matter what. Every week, twice a week. Bless up, family.